Well, I don't try to hide anything that goes on here, so I'm going to show my mistakes. In the last video, I showed that I put the feeder lambs, they're kind of out there in the distance if you can see them. These 3 feeder lambs, I turned them out in this field where the ewes had been. The grass was not quite as plentiful, but there's still plenty for 3 lambs out here. And, well, my intention, where I had my fences up doing the rotational grazing out here, I just kind of opened it up and let the rams have the whole field for a day or so, and then I was going to partition them back off to a strip of it. And we got a bunch of rain for about 3 days. We have been needing rain so bad, and we finally got some, and it rained so much for about 3 days I just didn't get back out here and do anything with them. So by having the gates opened up to where they could go wherever they wanted to out here, they decided, well, the fence isn't hot, so I guess I can just jump it, run over it, do whatever I want to it. And they have got this fence in a tangled mess. Try to do somebody a favor. Well, now I've got to try to untangle all this and roll this up. For now, I'm just going to straighten this out, let them have the whole field again for a little bit, since we've gotten some rain and the grass is trying to grow a little bit. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take this wire that I'm winding up to the summer pasture and partition off a new paddock for the breeding ewes that are over there. We need to go over there and check on them today anyhow, see how many of them are getting bred and make sure that ram's doing his job. I'm going to give these feeder lambs some salt, some mineral. We'll take some to all the different groups, make sure everybody's got the mineral and stuff that they need, and just give everything a good once over. So that's what's going on today. Yeah, sheep. Looks like they've done quite a bit of chewing on this wire too. That ain't good. Might have cost me. Boy, they have. They have destroyed this wire. I'll tell you, as much as they have chewed on this wire, that'll show in the camera, they have chewed this stuff up. They've broken the conductors inside it. I think my best bet is just go back down through here, find out where the last bad place is in it, and cut it off. Rather than risk having all this, it's a mess anyway, rather than risk putting this up somewhere and then it's not conducting good and I don't have a good fence. Lesson learned. Well, that can be a fairly expensive lesson, so I've already made the mistake. Don't you do the same thing. Do not leave your wires out here that are not hot, so they can run through them, chew on them, and tear them up. This is probably a $100 mistake. Well, I think the thing to do is start down here on the good end and figure out, where my first bad place is. Well, one of those reels, they pulled the whole thing out, didn't they? Now there's supposed to be 660 feet of wire on each of these spools. This one should be a full spool. This one, I've probably lost 75 feet or better off of it. This one I have lost probably 150 to 200 feet. And this one I've lost at least 500 feet. Basically this whole spool. Now these spools that are a little bit short, I can still use those, so it's because it's very seldom I ever string out a full 600 feet. Usually not a lot over half of that, maybe 450. I just never thought the sheep would chew on the wire that bad. And maybe it's because I had these lambs out here. Maybe the lambs are what did it. I just don't think the ewes would have chewed on it that much, but maybe. But I have learned my lesson. Don't leave the wire out in the field if it's not hot. At least not to where they can get to it. So I'm going to have to replace at least 2 spools, possibly 3. And if memory serves me right, they're around $60 for a roll of the wire, not already on the spool, just a roll of wire to put back on one of these spools. So I have to do that too. But I told you I wouldn't hide where I make my mistakes, and that's certainly one I made. That was just a silly mistake. I shouldn't have done it. I should have rolled this wire up a long time ago, but I didn't. So be sure and roll your wire up. Well, the girls have been out here for about 4 days, I guess. See how this feller's doing. 2117, 1705. Hold on a minute, hold on. We got 2155, 1705, and who are you? 2117. Who else we got? 1801. So that's 4. You're doing all right, bud. So they've eaten this little strip down far enough. So let's open it up and give them another piece. Doing all right, bud? Huh? Come on in, girls. See, I got a tree down here that's gonna need some attention. I may need to go get a saw and cut these limbs off. This is a wild cherry tree, and I really don't want them eating these limbs. I might try to just break them off here real quick. But if not, I'm gonna have to go get a saw and cut these off because they're too low and the sheep can get to them. These wild cherry leaves can be toxic to the sheep. In small amounts, it won't hurt them, and they would probably be okay. But since they're also in the process of getting bred, I want to make sure nothing like that happens. I don't want it to cause an abortion, basically, a fetus not to stick to the uterus or something. I don't know that that'd be a problem, but I really don't want to take my chances. So I'm gonna come back with a saw and I'm gonna cut these branches off so they can't get to them. And eventually I'm gonna have to cut that tree before it falls completely on my fence. Well, I didn't have to go get a saw after all. The handy multi-tool. Little Gerber come in pretty handy. I think we're in pretty good shape here now. I've got things trimmed back to where they can't really reach the leaves. Now I'm gonna need to go down and check the rest of the fence before I turn them out on any more of this. But since it's raining and wet out, I think that'll wait for another day. This fence isn't really as tight as I would like for it to be. So I'm gonna tighten it up with these tensioners. You can put these on with the fence hot, but it might hurt a little. It's supposed to work, but it doesn't always. Slide it on there, crank it up. I actually put the leather gloves on because I wasn't sure I wouldn't get shocked. I just thought they might give me a little extra protection. That's all there is to those. I always carry a few of them with me so I can tension the fence if I need to. All right, well, I think that's going to be it for today for this video. We've got the girls over at the summer pasture taken care of. The girls here at home are taken care of. My tangled fence and mess more or less cleaned up. Well, I won't do that again. So anyway, in the last video, I said I was going to leave a link to the annual conference that's coming up on October 19th, and I forgot to do that. I've gone back and added that link into that video. I'll put it in this video also. That's a good thing for anybody to come to if you get a chance. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.